back official acknowledged. The journey into the unknown starts now!
ColeyUFO on SNX radio. Whole room lean when the signal go. Maya Starfire got that spark on glow. Two names hit and the code at fold. ColeyUFO, don't leave me low. Maya Starfire, let the whole thing roll. Hands in the sky, let the rumor show. One more second and we all go. ColeyUFO, beat me up. Maya Starfire, light it up. ColeyUFO, beat me up. Maya Starfire, light it up. SNX Radio. Late night talk and the static crack. Your name comes through, I call it back. Moonroof open and the bass roll fat. Maya Starfire, make the whole block clap. ColeyUFO, don't beat me low. Maya Starfire, let the whole thing roll. Hands in the sky, let the rumor show. One more second and we all go. ColeyUFO, beat me up. Maya Starfire, light it up. ColeyUFO, beat me up. Maya Starfire, light it up. SNX Radio. If you fade, I chase that spark. If you rise, I follow that arc. One small word and we break the dark. Coley Maya, hit that ColeyUFO, beat me up. Maya Starfire, light it up. ColeyUFO, beat me up. Maya Starfire, light it up. Beat me up. Light it up. Light it up. ColeyUFO, lock in. Let's go.
And walking chips up, chrome on the kicks. Talk big talk, got codes, got tricks.
I see you flex, but it's cute, that's small.
I run this grid, one ping, you stall.
I'm that glitch in your perfect run. A girl turn a joke to a loaded gun.
You call control, I call it luck.
You call it game.
I call it us.
You wanna climb, I'm already upstairs. You wanna shine, I'm burning in the flares. Step in my lane, you slip, you slide.
Say my name once.
Then we ride.
Beat me up, Coley, turn this up too loud.
Too loud.
SNX, crazy, shake the whole damn crowd. You call, I respond, we collide on the floor. When the baseline hits, they be begging for more.
Beat me up, Coley, send the signal through. If you ride for the wave, better say that too.
You say yo, yo, you say yo, oh. When that drop comes in, we don't ever shut up.
Hey. Wait.
I talk slick in the candy coat draw. Hair slick back, I was born to brawl.
Cat, I swing with a diamond lip gloss. Strap on next and design a cross.
Old school fade with a brand new glitch. I flip the
feel the heat that's us in the room. You feel that tilt that your old life doomed. Count it down from 3, then 1.
When I say jump,
You run.
beat me up, Coley, turn this up too loud.
Too loud.
SNX crazy, shake the whole damn crowd. You call, I respond, we collide on the floor. When the baseline hits, they be begging for more.
Beat me up, Coley, send a signal through. If you ride from the way, better say that too.
You say yo, yo, you say yo, bro. When that drop comes in, we don't ever shut up. Wait.
Wait, stop.
Freeze in place.
You gon' move when I twist this face.
One little click, then the world goes bright. Blue
Blaze.
light,
Off in the cloud, still stomp that ground.
off in the dark, still run this town.
Talk that talk, better back that claim.
Say ColeyUFO, say my name. Beat me up, Coley, turn this up too loud.
Too loud.
SNX crazy, shake the whole damn crowd.
Too loud.
You call, I respond, we collide on the floor. When the baseline hits, they be begging for more.
Beat me up, Coley, send a signal through. If you ride for the way, better say that too.
You say yo, yo, you say yo, when that drop comes in, we don't ever shut up. Late night, SNX radio, static in my headset, Coley, you there? Lips on the radar, blinking too slow. I said, if you see that glow, you better send me in the air.
I'm tuned in, channel in my veins. Little gold ring with your code in the chain. Flicker in the sky like it's tapping my brain. You say ready and I answer, say my name.
Coley, you online.
Read you clear across the line.
Got a signal in the dust above. Hit that switch, you know what I love.
Beat me up, Coley. Don't leave me on the ground like that. Beat me up, slowly. Then draw me when the bass hits back.
I call,
You there?
I rise through the air. Together in the dark, we align like a code. Beat me up, let the whole world know. I'm the voice in the wise when the floor goes black. Heartbeat hitting with the kick on track. See a flash in your eyes when the rhythm snaps back. I say Coley to control and you answer like that.
I feel you in the low end, pulling me close. Every step I take, you already know. Hands in the air, crowd moving slow. Then you flip that switch and I start to glow. Beat me up, Coley. Don't leave me on the ground like that. Beat me up, slowly. Then drop me when the bass hits back.
I call, you there. I rise through the air. Together in the dark, we align like a code. Beat me up, let the whole world know. Turn it down. 3, 2, 1. SNX locking, all systems go.
Sends me through the smoke, through the bodies below. If you want the touch from above tonight,
Say my name on the mic and I'll cut through the light. Hey!
beat me up, Coley. Don't leave me on the ground like that. Beat me up, slowly. Then drop me when the bass hits back.
I call, you there. I rise through the air. Together in the dark, we align like a code. Beat me up, let the whole world know.
SNX radio is live tonight.
Anomalies drop and feel the cosmic drive.
Channel of flame and medium with the light.
Break it down right.
It's the best passion, can let them fly.
Evidence loaded, sharp in every line.
Experience a heart, raw and deeply real.
A truth that we seal.
Unstoppable force, no one can deny. Paving the way on this cosmic beat.
High strangeness rising, veil getting thin.
Cases we're breaking, let the truth rush in.
Never leading the way, night and day. Truth beyond disclosure, hear the people say.
Feel what it fire, spiritual flow so deep.
Analytical mind, patterns that we keep.
Together with a balanced heart and mind unite.
Unstoppable duo, shining through the night. We're leading the way to beyond disclosure. Power ignite, feel the cosmic exposure. Hands up high, never back down. Unstoppable force, taking over disclosure. We're leading the way to beyond disclosure. Power ignite, feel the cosmic exposure. Hands up high, never back down. Unstoppable force, taking over disclosure. We're leading the way. Passionate rants with that wild spark.
Steady breakdowns, lighting up the dark.
Synergy stronger, no one can compete.
Paving the future, watch the whole world see.
We break it down deep, make the truth reveal. Guests spilling accounts from the front lines true. Saucers dancing silent, radar can't pursue. This ain't theory, this the raw disclosure sound. On SNX radio, we holding it down.
We break out, fall, beat me up. Lights in the sky, we never stop.
Truth warriors unite, never gonna stop.
Beat me up, beat me up.
Break it down. We're leading the way to beyond disclosure. Rebel tonight, feel the cosmic exposure. Hands up high, never back down. Unstoppable force, taking over disclosure. Leading the way to beyond disclosure. Rebel tonight, feel the cosmic exposure. Hands up high, never back down. Unstoppable force, taking over disclosure. Leading the way.
I didn't even have mine on. I guess I should have told you guys that you're coming out here with me instead of doing that. Sorry. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to another episode of SNX Radio. I'm Coley, also known as ColeyUFO. And tonight we had, absolutely, I've been wanting to talk to Erica and Blackie for such a long time. And so tonight they made that happen. I appreciate you guys coming on. We kind of had an issue with some time with the last guy. So yeah, I know that everybody knows everybody in chat and here. So I just thought I'd, bring you out while we went through chat real quick and then we can get into it. But yes, it's great to see everybody. I'll start off. We got Pluto, Werewolves in the house. Werewolf's great. He was on David Schrader. If you guys have not seen his show, definitely go see it. Our Amy girl, she links us up and she is doing awesome at it. Amy, thank you so much for all you do. Jeff Milkman, great to see you. Larry, great to see you. We had like 3 Larrys yesterday. All 3 of you were in here together. Yeah. We had let me see here. Oh, the daddy, great to see you. And Blackie. This is probably before we conned you into coming. You guys are so nice about coming on too. So thank you so much for that. He's like, oh yeah, I can do it. Just need to get my equipment. I'm like, no, I totally understand. Diane, for the inspiration for all. We've had so much fun with the Beam Me Up, Lift Me, all that stuff. So thank you to Diane for that. 1028 Productions. That is Doc Skinner. Great to see you guys. Go over there and show him some love. He's starting up his channel once again. He always does great. So Pluto, great to see you. Diane, it's always a pleasure. You always put a smile on our face over here. So nice to have you. And I love when the chat gets going. I'm like, because I'm back there. I'm like, links are going everywhere. I'm trying to get everything situated. So I don't get to see all this till we go through it. It's kind of, I love the comments. It's great. Magneticus, great to see you. And we have, let's see here, 440. I don't know what that means. Does anybody know what that means? Alert, but Thank you for whatever alert this is. I've never have you guys seen something like that?
No, I have not seen that.
Oh, well, if you have an exit, I mean, it's cool. It's very cool. And whatever it is, I sincerely thank you for. I've never seen one in that kind of way, but yeah, we're going to hold on to that and see what we got. Standing Stones, great to see you. And we have, I got distracted here. I'm like the ADHD. I saw Erica. You're here. And I am Verax is here back. Great to see you. Great to see you. Carl is that sup? What's up, Carl? Sup, Carl. Yes, sup, Carl is what I usually say. Carl's wife lives really close to where I live, and he came on the first time I had him on my show, and I was like, how does he know all this? Like he knew where the train for Christmas. I mean, and here his wife was like from the same city. What are the chances? Yeah. At first I was like, how does he know this? You know? But then I found out. Yeah, Carl's great. He's always fun. Great guy. Great guest to have on. Great person. We got you here. Great to see you, Skitter. Great to come see you back. PNW Rush is in the house. If you guys have not, hopefully Glenn's doing good. PNW Rush has a great channel also. Definitely go over there and check out his work. He's got amazing stuff. Patrick Noble, it's great to see you. And some people do this way better than what I do, guys. Sometimes I feel like I'm painful to other people for doing this, but I want to make sure I get everybody. It would bother me if I didn't. I'm like, okay, so now I think I did, but if I missed you, I promise I will make it up to you. And Carl, I did whatever I did not. And I'm going to turn it over to Erica and Blackie. They've got a channel. I actually recommend you guys go over and watch. It gets my blood moving and flowing. I know that when I've seen it. So that's always good in a very good way. I love your, you have great dialogue. You have what you stand behind is, you're one of my people for sure. So why don't you tell them, who you are, where you're at, I guess, and why you're there.
You want to go? You want me to do it?
Oh, you got this.
Okay. I call myself Blackie. That's my last name's Black. So I just go by Blackie. It's easy. It's kind of a cool radio thing. But I'm Chad. This is my wife, Erica. We have the podcast, the Oddcast podcast, Off the Record. And we kind of started the show. She'd been telling me for years that I needed to do a podcast because I'm always mad about something political. And she's like, you should have a show and, vent your frustrations. And I was like, I don't think I can use the language I want to use. And so we met Roger, who you had on the other night, last night, Roger Williams, and Greg House at a conference. And we got to talking with them, and they were talking all about, the Sasquatch stuff. And I was in amazement about all of that. And I didn't have any experiences. I'd seen one or two UFOs in the sky, and I thought, wow, okay, let's check this out. So we got involved with that group, and from there, we decided we would do a podcast finally. And it's been a slow venture, kind of going from like not knowing what buttons to push to we didn't have guests for the longest time. Mm-hmm. So that really changed, how you do a show is if you don't have guests, it's her and I'm the one that's like bringing up the subjects usually. And so she's got to try to study for something she knows nothing about.
We've kind of changed format. Yeah. We've been on a little over a year, and we've changed our format a little bit. I think we're finding our way more now and just a little more free. We were trying to do like an educational type show to begin with.
Not like elementary educational, but like,
like bringing up topics.
Yeah.
And then, bringing the conversation around that, but trying to mention things or facts behind them. And then we would have input from our chat. And then over time, we realized, man, we are getting really good input from our chat. The audience is bringing up really good points, and they're adding to the conversation. And it just really became, we're more free flowing now. We don't necessarily pick a topic and then follow that. We're kind of more open now, and whatever comes around. And our chat is building. You know, our audience is awesome, and so it just contributes to the conversation. And so that's where we are now.
Yeah, and I'm all
So
about.
you guys are. I haven't seen a guest. So is this recent? Real recent?
Yeah, we just started. We had a guest early, like show one. We had Jeff Yarrington, who's in chat, and Roger actually, just to kind of get the nerves worked out and everything. And then later on, we had a friend of mine that was at January 6th and experienced all of that. So we did a show on that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a show that it needs to be, there needed to be more viewers on it because it's firsthand experience of everything that went on that day, from everything that he saw and was a part of. And he was, he went in there as a, not, I won't say neutral, but what he saw that day kind of links up to what people are saying now. And that's all I'll touch on that subject is what you were seeing in the news wasn't really what happened there. So,
go figure.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if we got a little hit a little bit by, the YouTube stuff, because
that was the beginning.
Yeah, because I won't censor anything. That's one of the things, I mean, language wise, but when it comes to talking about things, that's why I wanted to start this show, because I wanted to talk about what they call conspiracy theories that I know they're not conspiracies. There's some out there, but most of them, kind of coming true and they're real things. And so I wanted to get out there, and she was like, let's do it. And we've done shows on weather modification. We've done shows on prepping and all the bugging in. Yeah. All kinds of shows like that. Then we did a few gardening shows. And to be honest, the biggest show we had was a gardening show. We had like 1,000 views on it. And that to me was like, oh my gosh, we went from 150 views to 1,000. What the heck, And
if I had to guess, it's because it was the safest one we covered.
Yeah. You guys must be one hell of gardeners. I mean, that means that.
Nothing really controversial in that one.
Right. But like our last show we did with Sweden Sasquatch, and we talked about her UFO experiences, and just to hear, and she's such a great
I saw
guest.
your UFO show. Yeah.
It was very, she went into a lot of detail about the things she saw, how much she sees. She says where she lives in Arizona, she sees them all the time, what she calls zippies. And she's like, Chad, they're not human. They're not of this planet because they move too fast. People couldn't be in these things.
I've seen hundreds. Yeah.
That's
wow.
Carl's in Arizona. Yeah. It is. How many did she get them up close? I'm curious what they look like. Did
she went and did, well, she's seen a triangle. That was the one she talks about the most, was one that was similar to the Arizona lights, but it was not as big. And it had, the lights stayed uniform rather than kind of, yeah. So that was a neat story when she told that, but she says she sees zippies every day, and she did a Sedona tour, which we're going to do now, I think, where you go out and they got the military grade night vision goggles that you stare up into the sky, and the things she said, the things you see, it's amazing. You can tell a satellite because it moves so, across the sky, but there's things passing them satellites 100 times faster. So,
I've got some good pictures of them. I tell you, once you start to see them and once you get a hang of it, it's really not that hard to do. But when they get so close, like the first one I had was 50-foot diameter, 30 feet away. I came 1 mile, clept over, and there was nowhere to hide, nowhere to run to. Like that was like, I was scared out of my mind. But after that, it kind of opened a door for, like, I was like, well, it could have fried me. It didn't seem to take us anywhere that we remember, but it opened a door that definitely you can't close.
Yeah,
everything changes.
So that's made me want to do more UFO shows now. I mean, again, I've seen a star. Well, it was supposed to be Orion's belt. I thought it was Orion's belt until I realized that after it took off. And literally, it would have been like if I threw a rock that's how fast this thing moved. And then when I looked at the other sky over here, there's Orion's belt. So whatever it was, so
They
I looked at her.
mimic.
Yeah, I looked at her and I said, that was a UFO. I mean, I can call it a UFO, or, because I couldn't identify it. So it was neat. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's the
What
kind of
did it?
stuff.
I woke up with a star map on my leg before that kind of
Yeah, I heard it.
alludes to that area. Yeah, it's when stuff like that happens. I mean, it's fun. The crafts are great. I have not directly connected a craft to an actual like abduction experience. I've always seen the crafts in one place, and then the whole thing happens if you're in their space or time. That's what's always made me a little skeptical of it. If that makes sense.
So yeah, so we're looking forward to doing that that trip out there.
That's awesome.
And we kind of want to get into more things, but Erica just started her own skincare company. So we're kind of gonna play this out and see how this does. And so far, it seems to be doing well. So
very cool. I did hear you made skincare, Erica.
Yes, and home cleaning products. I make so it's all natural, toxin free. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been something that I've actually done for several years, just here around the house. And then earlier this year, I'm like, why don't I just try, and see how this goes? Because I'm very, he's passionate about his politics and all the, conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And I'm, through the years, we've learned about microplastics, obviously, things like that. And my backstory is I survived a very serious car accident when I was 16, and I had a traumatic brain injury.
Oh, wow.
And so it's been quite a road to get where I am today. And it was really rough after it happened. And it was rough for years. And it was just, my memory was terrible. And I just kept pushing through it and pushing through it. That was the summer before my senior year in high school. I finished my senior year just fine. I already had, enough credits. So it wasn't going to be like, anything that I couldn't accomplish, but it was very, very hard to start college immediately after. It was just, it was so bad.
Well, if I could interject real quick, she actually died and was resuscitated back to life.
Wow.
So when they found me, I did not have a heartbeat, is what they told me. And I don't remember the car accident at all. I mean, it was like lights out. I remember before it happened, and I was the only passenger in the vehicle. And I remember stopping for gas. I remember leaving where we met, stopping for gas. And then later on, I remembered we were driving on a country road, just a 2-lane road, and seeing the light flash through the trees. I remember seeing that. And then I woke up at the hospital. Like, that was the next thing I remember. And I don't know if you want to hear all about this.
Yeah, let's go into it. No, I drove with a dead man. The way in through this, in a way you understand a lot of this, and even why you might not even know the direct reasons now, but what put you on this path.
Yeah.
Very fascinating.
Yeah. Because it's been, a lot of figuring that out. But
I had my neck surgery right before I came in and had the ET contact. I lost my whole right side. So I had to learn how to, like even hold something in your hand or feed yourself. Yeah. And it was, so I really can relate with that. Please. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was in a coma. That was a Thursday night until Saturday. And I of course, I didn't know when or where or whatever. But when I woke up, I was like, I do remember this and thinking, I think I know why I'm here. I think I know what may have caused this, even though I didn't have any memory of the series of events, like the crash actually happening. But I think I may know why I'm here. And my parents were in the room. I don't remember seeing them, but I remember they were in the room. And I said, am I 17 yet? And it was like, other than that, I don't remember anything in the hospital except leaving and the painful ride home. I had broken my like L3, L4 vertebrae area too. And I was so sensitive to any movement, and like it wasn't
in your neck. You had broken?
my back.
Oh, your lower back.
My lower back. They I read my medical records. They said I had a chipped bone in my neck, but I don't remember ever getting that like treated. I had to wear a back brace. That was middle of May. I had to wear that until about August, I think. They had the option to do surgery, but while I was in a coma, my parents were like, "No, we'll just do the back brace." And so, but like, I remember leaving the hospital. I left the hospital and, I'm in a wheelchair and I look down and I'm just a fog, like my brain is a mess. But I look down and I'm like, what? I'm like, are we having home health care or something? I didn't know all the terms then, but the IV tube or whatever was still in my hand. I'm like, and so they had to take me back into the hospital so they could remove that. So
I was like, that could either be a good thing, like they maybe they left it there, or going somewhere. Yeah, more.
It really was it was beyond terrible. It was a terrible time. Whole summer, before my senior year, I was just in bed in my dark room, like it was bad. But I remember back then I was like, I feel so bad because I feel like I'm getting on everybody's nerves. I had no concept of time. And I think I asked many, many, many times in the day what time it is. And I just like, that was one of my out of sorts, like whatever part of my brain. It definitely affected that. Like
it's normal with traumatic brain injury like that. They even have like to set clocks to set time. They don't. Unfortunately, when that happens. Wow. And then you were coming out like this is a whole different way. It's your senior year of high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh gosh.
Which I wasn't social anyway, like not outside of school. And in school I kept to myself mostly, but I really wasn't allowed to do anything anyway as a kid. I mean, honestly, I was pretty sheltered, but I worked. And so it was just school and work, for me at the time. And then I couldn't work for a while, after the accident. But then I couldn't drive for a long time because of potential, I can't think of the word.
Recurring?
Seizures.
Oh, the seizures.
Yes. So, but like that right now, I can't think of the word. Like that still is one of my things, but it's way better.
I do that too, and I don't have any reason.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
So here we are. Fast forward.
You're in good company. Yeah. Oh man,
it's crazy. It's crazy because I've just kept fighting. I've kept moving. I've kept working and going to school, and it things have gotten in the way, but I finally got my bachelor's degree
good
a little over 10 years ago.
Congratulations.
And that was my ultimate goal. I'm like, at the time or at least when I started college, it really was like, if you don't have your bachelor's degree, you're not going to be able to do anything. Of course, times have changed, but anyway, so the thing is, through the years, my brain has gotten so much better. I've just kept fighting. Like, I've gotten to the point where I love to learn. I don't know everything, but I do get passionate about a lot of things, and it makes me want to read. It makes me want to learn more. I just really haven't given up. And the crazy thing is, there are a lot of things I can't remember or don't remember or struggle to remember. But I'm 43, and
You're only 43? Oh, girl.
I'm 43. And at this point in my life, I have seen so many people, I'm at that age where I know a lot of older people, obviously, and people that aren't even that much older than me. I can see their decline in memory, and
Are you talking about me?
no.
I thought maybe he's talking about
It's
me,
just like,
Blackie.
to me, it's kind of like a pendulum. I
Yes.
got like a preview of losing your memory. You know what I mean? And
Oh, so you
I'm
can
seeing-
identify some of these
Yeah.
traits, is what you think. Okay.
like, I've always been patient toward people. And I was always very thankful when people were patient toward me, especially, in those darkest days where I really couldn't remember, asked what time it was 7 times a day or whatever, It's crazy because my memory now is better than ever. I feel like, and I see, it's like a matter of time before everybody kind of goes downhill with their memory and everything. And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I've already gotten a preview of that. And I can see when people are having a tough time remembering, people, I'm like, I know what that feels like,
Yes.
So
Yes.
my empathy with that is just very strong. And so anyway.
Aw. We need more people like that. That's something really hard to do. Like, my grandmother, she had dementia, and it was really hard to see the strong woman go, because you just see how because they realize a part of it themselves. You do. Anytime you have that, you realize a part. That was very hard. And I'm glad that there's people out there that do have that empathy for them, because it was really hard for me to go and see her. And I always regret that. And I thought, why am I doing that? But it was like I couldn't, I don't know. It was so traumatic for me to see, and you love somebody so much, but you don't love somebody, you shouldn't run away from them, I guess, or because this, it was the wrong way to handle it. But when I hear that, I'm like, I'm so glad that people do have that empathy in their heart for that, because
I think a
really
lot of people were that way, Coley. I think a lot of people want to remember somebody the way they were, and it's tough to, like my grandmother was 90 some years old, and she was at my parents' house, bedridden, and she remembered Erica, but she didn't remember me. And Erica's not her grandkid, but she remembered Erica, but not me. And she would wake up in the middle of the night and just carry on conversations with nobody. So that, that's unfortunately where our mind goes. I guess not everybody, but when we get older and dementia and all that stuff,
I definitely wish I wish I knew more about dementia, because I know some people that I suspect that might be going on, but there's more to it, and the personality changes.
It's like an umbrella diagnosis. When I was a mental health therapist, we went through it. I'm like, okay, there's Alzheimer's, there's vascular dementia, there's different things that you could be happening. Somebody could be having like TSAs, so small mini strokes, or they could be, there's so much to it. There really is. I could see that. I mean, but and two, they have that anger. It's like when the sundowning happens, or the frustration. A lot of times those caretakers themselves need a lot of, heave ho or like support with
Mhm.
stuff. And it's hard. It is really hard.
Real quick, my granny, I always talk about my granny. She's 101 years old.
Is she still living?
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
she's great.
Oh,
You would
wow.
not ever guess.
No, she is
That is
mentally
awesome.
there. You can carry. She'll ask me about things, and I'll go into some conspiracy theory thing, and she's like, that's what I heard too. It's like, wow, this is perfect.
She is with it. I'm very thankful to still have her.
And you can validate what happened with her. Like, hey, when they said this in the history books, what was it really like to live through this? Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because she's a good resource. I'll definitely
She
put
is.
it that way.
I would love
how
to.
cool.
She's one of those people that I would love to get on the show. I don't
Bring
know
her
if she would
on.
ever.
Is she up?
And
She would
just
never.
and just talk. Ask her questions about growing up.
Yes.
Through the Great Depression. I think she went through part of that as a kid, and just stuff that we're never going to. Those people are all going to be gone soon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to try to get what I call actual history from people that lived it, instead of
absolutely
the fake history we're getting now from a lot of things. But we won't go there.
True. So true. No, we can go there. I said my kiddo, I'm always telling him, like, he brought back a thing, and I was like, Brody, this is not the way that. So he'll always be like, oh, okay. But I'm like, why are we perpetuating lies? Why are we doing this? Like, and when all this stuff comes out, I try and correct it. And I think that everybody needs to do that part. That's like, it almost seems like a service, like when we know this. But when you start reading through those, I guess the huge wake up call for me was when I was in high school. I had this, I was in these advanced classes for kids, and they had a lady, and she was from Russia, and she came over, and she would live there during the time. And she said, in Russia, we did not know about the Cold War. And I said, what do you mean you didn't know about the Cold War? What do you mean? What do you mean you didn't know about the Cold War? Like, is that even possible? She's a history teacher. Like, wouldn't they have to teach you about? They did not. She swears up and down. And then there's this lady when I was working at the zip line, and she came in. She's like, I wanted to go to China and see their trees, because in her country, all they have these frogs with these fangs, right? Then they cut up all their trees. And I thought you needed trees for oxygen, but I guess that was not really the case. She said she went to China, and she said, I'd had them take me through the Red Fort and drop me off. And she said, and I got out, and 3 layers in, she said, there are nothing but casinos. And I said, casinos in China? Yes. She said, they do not want the Americans to know. And I said, why is that? She said, the Americans would then think that they were still a communist country with no money. And I was like, oh boy, let that one sink in.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing to me. And that's what I've got when I get onto this, and I started going every rabbit hole I could go down, and to learn a lot of the things that I've learned, it's almost become, I don't want to be mean, but when you look at somebody and they're denying everything, well, this is what's going on. And they're like, no, it's not. No. And they're like, I just saw the news, and it wasn't, and like, oh, the news, it's and one of the things I always preach is do your research. Don't listen to me. I don't know everything. Research. If you're interested in what, like when we did the weather modification stuff, most of the people that come to our show are they believe in the conspiracy theories. And I said, this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is all real. I've just gone on the National Weather Service, site. I've gone on, the Weather Modification LLC site. I've gone on, the weather. I'm reading all these different things, and nobody's denying that there's weather modification. I mean, they've got laws in states now that you can't modify the weather. So if they've got,
I bet I can find an old 1980s. I held on to it, and it's in my phone somewhere. The 1980s, where they talked about how the 18th floor in Chicago, Illinois, was the place that controlled our weather. And I was like, nobody thought about it was any big deal back then. But I'll send it to you when I find it. It was unbelievable.
Vietnam, they did it. They were making it rain. And that was, okay, you told us you're making it rain, so now we're supposed to believe that you can't make it rain or step up the rain or use HARP or anything like this to control our weather. And now we're seeing the craziest weather, and we know it's because they want to implement all the green agenda crap. And they want to, Operation Popeye, right, Magneticus? And it's just a lot of people that I don't know if they're afraid of diving into that. They're afraid of the truth, that their government is not a good thing. And I'll say it, I voted for Trump 3 times. I did. And what I have learned is that I do not like any politician.
Me either.
There's not
there's not one single one that I would say was not a shyster, was not bought and paid for, but there's one side I cannot vote for because of other things. And that's what it comes down to at this point, because I cannot have children being mutilated. I cannot have that stuff being
I got you there. But it's like, what do you tell people to do? You have an election season, you pick the greater of two evils. To me, it's I think I posted a meme the other day that was a wing nut, left wing, right wing, left wing, right wing, same nut. And that's exactly the perfect,
How about you guys? Have you ever ran? I've ran for city council. You should go and open your eye experience to the level they will go to locally. And then you'll be like, whoa, if this goes on in your local cities, I can imagine what's going on across this country.
I cannot imagine.
Oh, we know bad.
We know politicians are built and, are paid for. We know that other countries are we know really, really big time what's going on now with the big I country. But we know that our politicians have been paid for by, corporations, and they don't get rich by just being $174,000 a year. You don't know. Yeah, it's good money. I'm not nowadays, but it
was good money at one time.
Before back in my day, if somebody made over 100,000, they were like, man, that guy's, pretty well to do. But nowadays you're like getting by, and it is what it is. But when you start seeing these politicians that are multimillionaires after being in office for a year, and what'd you do before? Oh, I was a bartender. There's some damn good tips you're making. What else are you doing?
I know who you're talking about too. We caught our locals. They were selling. They gave the bank something for $1. Then they were going and selling, and it's known, and nothing has ever been done about it, even though we've put it out there and exposed it. And they watched my local channel so they can hear it too again. But this is the problem, is that they are putting things out there. The people are buying it knowing what contracts are happening. When they budget, it's long before anybody coming in that year can even. So they're asking everybody, what are you going to do? And I'm said, realistically, what can I do? I'm not going to sit here and lie and BS you. I'll tell you, I will dump any information that I can get my hands on back there. I will get it out to you. I said that would be my promise, and that would be where it stayed, because we were like, this is insanity. Like everybody's like going to the nursing homes and like, oh, if you vote for this person, they're gonna take care of your Social Security. It's not gonna get lowered any, or like this. A non-bipartisan city has nothing, and these are the people that are in their current chairs. And I'm like, hey, this is just, they just think it's, I don't know. Do you think, oh, that's a bad thing to do, tricking all these people and going up and filing for, to have their mail-in ballots for them to go ahead and trick them? Do you have a soul you go home to? You have to look in the mirror, how do you sleep at night is my
it's the almighty dollar rules everything. And then that's what we're seeing, is the amount of people that will spew a bunch of stuff you want to hear, and then when it comes to money, they change their mind. They're being bought and paid for. And again, like we live in a really small town, and these people here, I think we have 2,000 in our town. These people are on it, man. They're like, they see what's going on. They're like, these politicians that we've got, how do you trust who you're going to elect? And I've already said it's too bad it's not the 1700s again. and we can tar and feather our politicians and all these other
I've got a
things. But
tree. Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
for real. Like that's just the way it is. Like and too bad you guys should, Blackie. I think you should go out and you should in the town of 2000. We could get you enough votes to get you in. That'd be a good spot. I think we could do it.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
This guy right here.
I keep joking. I was like, I'm going to run for mayor some days. She's like,
You should.
You should. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be very good at it. I'd be telling everybody to stick it up their arse.
That might be what they need. That might be what they need. And you know what? I said that way. What I found out is during the whole, the whole, whatever you want to call the COVID came through. And I said, this is they were not printing our side of it. And so we said, okay, using my head again, right? Not always the best ideas, but using my head again. I said, if something opens up in one of our areas for a seat, we are going to, and this is what I was telling my group, we are going and who's ever in that area, it's your tickets drawn, we're going to run. And of course my area went first. So I was like, okay. And it was even to get people to open their doors. It was all crazy. And I was like, it's like freezing cold, middle of winter. It was like for a special election. And I said, this is sad. What I am seeing is so sad that these people, that were locked away for so long. They didn't even want to give their pen back.
Yeah.
They didn't want to even open their door.
Oh yeah.
Lady's like,
totally.
I don't know. She's like, I said, can you imagine how I feel out here? I am freezing to death, but you have to
Yeah.
get like 150 signatures. So I did. But then I went down there. They gave me the wrong phone number. They gave me the wrong day for the election. They gave me all my flyers are printed out. Yeah. Then I find out this is actually a thing. I said, a thing by the Dubuque County recorder is now giving the wrong, because he doesn't like me or my political. This is terrible. Yeah. The scoundrel gave me the wrong phone number and the wrong date. And I was like, oh, well played. So then I had to go mark them. And I wanted to stamp something on here. Thank your county attorney for his deception, but you can't by pen. I just need to get them out. I didn't have that much time to write it, but yeah, this is crazy.
So disgusting
It
that things like
is.
that happen. Aren't we adults? Okay.
No,
number
they're
one.
not. I know. You would think so. Aren't they professionals? They worked on there. Then as soon as I handed him, they tipped off the paper. They tip off everybody. So I'm seeing there, I'm watching from behind, and I was like, okay. I did not keep up at the I got locked out of the nursing homes before everybody else did. They knew to get in and get out before they were going to be locked down for that period. So but I kept up at the polls. And so they contacted me and they said, would you like to come down and basically verify and count the ballots? I said, yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah, right. To this day, I hope they found somebody I was not going to do that after they did that to me. I thought, no way.
Well, explain to me why our politicians, and I'm not talking at the city level, state level, yes.
Yeah.
But why do you have to be a multimillionaire or have multi-million dollars, hundreds of thousands, well, not even that, millions of dollars to run for office? It makes zero sense that you have to be. You name a politician, name somebody that's been president that's never been rich. You might have ran into that back in the, in the 1800s. You might have had some, but even they were rich back then. So a normal Joe Schmo, let's say I put my name on the presidential ticket. I don't have the money to travel around the country and do the kind of things that you need to do to run for a president. And it's gotten to where it's, well, I know right now we're trying to eliminate the deep state, but to me, the whole damn thing's a deep state. Yeah. Anybody involved in it has been a lifelong politician or involved in life. And I don't care what they say.
Blackmail is the name of the game right now. You got to think of all the emails we were sending out, all of those. And I said they're either complicit, complacent, or both.
Well, here we go. Maximus is going to get me fired up here with the data centers and AI. So there's another thing. Your life, Coley, if somebody didn't like you, they could ruin your life with AI.
Yes.
That's where we're at. That's what we're at right now. They could take your voice, make you say something you didn't say, and it's gotten to a point where there is, with politics, there is a class of people that you can't touch, that will always be in politics. A great example is with Lindsey Graham right now. Nobody's electing his sister, but now, she was nothing. But now that Lindsey Graham's passed on, his sister has taken his spot and is now running for that spot. So now she is doing the job that he was doing instead of them doing a special election to elect somebody to fill that spot. So now we're inserting somebody just like the Democratic Party wanted to do with Kamala Harris. Nobody voted for her, but they were going to make her president. They put her in there for presidential run. So that's where we are with politics. So who are we supposed to believe? Who do we trust? I'm a big fan of gutting it all and starting over again with something else. But
I believe in limited government, fiscal responsibility. Like I think there's no reason for any of this. There's not much like you can't go and anybody. I remember they were showing. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was funny, but it's actually not that funny. They're going around and they're making all these false promises, but they really believe it. The people, I will have you acquitted. I will have you exonerated. Like however they were putting it to the people, and they're showing all this stuff, and I'm like, there's got to be some like oversight on some of this because this is insane.
Yeah,
it really is insane.
It is.
I just, and like you said before, and I'm thinking, how in our heads, like, how do they do it in other countries where they put a cap on? It has to be capped. Who funds the people? That is a whole nother problem all on its own. It's like, I think that it should be rid of all of this, like the corporate influence, but that's, I don't know how you'd be able to do that.
And term limits for sure.
Term limits. This is not a career that you just.
You see on the back wall here, it's the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. I'm 100% a patriot. I love my country.
Me too.
I think that we are headed somewhere where these two items that are behind me are eventually going to be trash. Eventually, they are going to be, we're already losing our First Amendment. I'm seeing right-wing podcast, right-wing. Usually it's the left wing, but I'm seeing right-wing podcasters saying, well, we need to, there needs to be something where these people can't say, I'm like, I always just comment First Amendment, freedom to say whatever you want. There are limitations.
There are limitations. Do not.
There are some limitations.
Somebody else. Yeah.
But these people aren't breaking those limitations. So now you're going to get the government involved in the First Amendment again. And, like with the Second Amendment, which I'm a huge fan of.
Me too.
They're trying to, take the rights away from people, and that's the Second Amendment's the one I really go off about because that protects every other amendment, that First Amendment or Second Amendment does. And when they try to take our rights away from us, I know my friends, Jeffrey, that was in chat, they live in Maryland, and that is a crazy state. They're trying to get rid of guns altogether in that state. And I just don't understand what the deal is because we know until we fix the justice system, until we fix, the prisons and everything else, violence is going to exist. Now, if somebody uses a gun, it's not the gun's fault. It's the person with the gun. Okay. Absolutely. I've got a lot of guns around here and none of them have gotten up in the middle of the night, left my house to go do anything. Okay. They stay
right.
They stay where they're at. They don't attempt to do anything, but somebody wants to take my guns away. And I'm not going to let that happen. And luckily we live in an area where there ain't nobody going to let that happen. It's, small
You're
town
lucky.
America.
Well, I came from a small town, but they were like the last one I was in is like 80 people. And that was just
that's a small town.
But it was too small because they started because of my show, and I don't think they saw like even though they knew I was out there with the Right for Freedom, they also saw like the shows that I had. I came up in a gas station, and I had his phone, and it said on it, "The things the government doesn't want you to know," that I had taglined. He's like, "What does this mean?" And I said,
"Wow,
I don't know how to explain this," but I said, "I gotta go. I really, I'm like, run the walk." Yeah. That went through. It's like in the small towns like that, you sneeze and they all know. It's like, I mean, they are on it. It's good in a way, but it also, once that started to hit, that kind of created some problems, and I was like, I think I gotta go back. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I love the small town feel. I love it for that
Mhm.
reason. But when some of that is in the small town,
Mhm.
you
We
sound like
live
you got a
in
good small town.
Yeah, we do. You still have some OGs though that they won't let any newness or any foreigners,
Yeah, we
That's
that
probably
aren't
what I
from the
was. Yeah.
area.
Okay, that's probably what I was then.
and well,
Yeah.
that's kind of when we moved here. I won't say anybody treated us different, but I can make anybody like me. That's never been a problem of mine. I can chat about anything. I can make you laugh. I can do whatever. I've never had a problem getting to know people. We came here, we met people, they enjoyed our presence, but on the websites for the city, I started seeing all these people commenting, these outsiders need to stop moving here and this, that, and the other. And I finally got commented. I was like, look, I'm just like you. I want
Oh, they were talking about
everything you
you?
want. I don't want the
No, no, not about
Oh, no,
us.
not about
Just in
us.
general. A lot
Oh.
of people have moved to Tennessee in general from out of state, and they just put them in a classification, like that.
Yeah. So, they
I
assume
got
like
you.
everybody
Yeah.
that moves here is like New York or California. And I'm like, no, we're not those people. And some of those people aren't bad people. They come from upper New York where they're, they've got a brain.
Sure.
And they come from, California, which if anybody knows anything about California, it's actually predominantly red. It's just the big cities like LA, San Francisco, and
Yes.
Sacramento are all, blue, and it's a large population.
And also, though, this came from the Facebook groups that, some people who participate on these certain groups
Yeah.
just want to stir the pot.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
you better believe it. Yeah, they just wait for those moments, They
Yes.
really do. I always got a kick out of it. I said, the Second Amendment we have the right to a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of the free of state. And I said, when people hear that, I'm like, I said, that's what they want you to think. A militia is a militia is not what you probably think it's going to look like. But it is there and necessary, and people are wanting to change the words. I'm like, it says it there for a reason. Why do we have to rewrite everything?
Right.
It's
Everything.
yes.
Our forefathers did a fantastic job writing that thing for the future. They didn't name anything particular, i.e. the Second Amendment, when they talk about guns or the right to bear arms. They don't say, I know the last president said, well, you can't own a cannon. And I said, well, yeah, you can. They could own cannons too. So, we got to a point where if you lie enough as a politician, people start to believe what you're saying. So that's what was going on, is they started saying, well, assault rifles. I'm like, what's an assault rifle? I mean, what exactly is an assault rifle? Let's hear it. Is it something that assaults people? Because I threw a rock at a kid once. Would that be an assault rock? I mean, none of it made sense when they were trying to talk about this. So anyway, this was the kind of stuff that maybe we wanted to get on a podcast about and discuss. Now, you can do that all the time, or you can, like we have, so we don't get watched a lot. We like to talk about, like, we'll do a weather monitor show or something else conspiracy wise. I think we did one on the Yale organization, Skull and Bones, which had a lot of our politicians in it, and other bankers and whatever, presidents, and we decided that our viewership started going down. Now, it wasn't the greatest show in the beginning, but we were given facts and numbers and pictures and everything. And I was, like, okay, it's just our show. But as I got to thinking about it, I'm like, we're talking about things that they don't want us to talk about. I know YouTube will strike you for a lot of that. So I said, here's the way we do it. We'll talk about a conspiracy theory, and then we'll do a gardening show. And then we did that. And our group never left. Everybody that came in for the one thing stayed for everything else. And then
that's cool.
We started getting compliments like, keep doing what you're doing, because it's never the same. You're talking like you've always got something different. And that's what we wanted to do. We were like, okay, we want to be a homesteading channel, but we want to talk conspiracy theories, but we, obviously want to do gardening. We want to do bugging in, bugging out. I had a military guy on for our bugging out episode. And we just, we had a health conspiracy show where we had a doctor on to talk about, the medical field.
Cool.
And we got some great answers out of him. Now, he was friends with a certain person that nobody likes. And we caught that in the chat as well. Dr. Fauci. But anyway.
Oh. He knew him, or he was like.
Yeah, he knew him. Yeah,
Wow.
really well.
Decades ago.
But, we didn't really want to talk. We kind of, once he said that, I didn't really want to go that direction with it. You can't really talk about.
I got
COVID.
Fauci's number in the beginning. Yeah,
Oh, really?
I was out to hunt him down. Oh, you better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't we? He's the biggest mass serial killer ever, to be in my eyes. I mean, he's supposed to be a doctor. He's supposed to be some kind of virologist, but yet.
Oh, and his wife was so tangled in that too.
We had the same issue in Ohio with our politicians. What was that? Amy Acton. She ended up being an alcoholic. I won't say that. Rumored, allegedly was an alcoholic. And I like that whole thing messed her up completely, and I'm assuming it's because you're lying about things and you're who was the scarf lady?
I forget her name.
That was always at the podium with the president. You're always like, these people, do they have a conscience? And if they're virologists, why aren't they doing their? Why are you?
Do you want to know what our local? Oh gosh, I can look back at the notes. He helped me figure it out, and he was the one that was doing the COVID testing, and he said by the CDC standards, and we had it all mapped out. I know I still can find it, and we would have been and hit herd immunity by like the 3rd month that I was there, and he's like, none of this is making sense. He was getting, oh God, Lawrence, I'll think of what his name was, but he and I were working behind the scenes because he couldn't do it. His license was put on the line. I thought, well, they don't care about my license, I guess, but I had already decided to put mine in exempt status. I said, if I'm going to talk, I'm going to do the walk too. I'm not going to sit behind like a lot of people would with their signs. And then they didn't want people to know they were there because they worked here or worked there. I said, I was too far into it. It's like, I can't, that doesn't sit right with me. I can't go, if I don't believe in something, then I can't do it. I can't give them my time. I can't, it becomes I get really conflicted internally about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to sleep it.
Oh, Deborah Burks. Yeah. Dr. Burks.
They act like I said, I don't know how they take this. And then they act like it's no big deal. And they just go home and they sleep. And it's like,
yeah.
Feelings.
I agree with you, Coley. It's like, I've got to sleep at night. I just don't understand how, how some people have no soul,
Yeah.
No values.
Absolutely.
They're completely out for themselves, and I cannot relate to that.
No,
it's definitely a conflict for me.
It is for me too. Yeah, definitely.
We elected people to help. What's the way I want to say this? We elected these people to help us to make programs that are good for us.
Or do the things that they said.
And we do, yeah. And we give them our good faith. They make these decisions in our good faith, and we are allowed to live in a least restrictive environment. It says that right in our stuff. It's like,
and here we are, fighting a war against somebody, in my opinion, is 8,000 miles away plus that hasn't done anything to us here. We put soldiers everywhere. And I've never been a big fan of that, of spreading our soldiers thin and putting them in other countries. I know that's supposed to be, a safety thing. But if we're not in other countries, we're not pissing everybody off. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. So anytime somebody like, oh, we're going to the war with the United States, I didn't see anybody sending anybody over here to help us for anything. If we have people on our streets that are starving, I see no help from anybody abroad, like that are dropping off food containers or helping. I don't understand it. I mean, unless our money is literally being embezzled, unless our money is literally, I mean, being mishandled, this fiscal responsibility needs to be like a qualification. Like they need these type of watchdogs. So we learned, oh, we need to put our people in their, like when they're having their groups, and I thought, who wants to go? They spot me a mile away, so I can't go in. But anybody else, yeah, they know it. They know already. So, but other people were telling them, oh, you can go cover this one, you can go cover that one, because this is how they're doing it. We figured out how they were infiltrating on both sides. The people you would think, and we thought, and I thought, this is the biggest betrayal of it all. When somebody's pretending and they're there and you're like, and you're being kind to them and you're whatever, and then they're getting all your information and legitimately like taking it and going over to the enemy. Like, why are we even doing this? We shouldn't be fighting even with one another. If we would all stand together and realize that it's like the top 1 to 3% against us, like really, like that. Otherwise, they're outnumbered. There's more of us than there are of them.
But we've gotten to a point, and the government does this for a reason, is they base things on race. They base things on money. They base things, everything that they're doing now is based to separate all of us, to keep us in our little groups, whether it be color, black, white, religion, Muslim, Israel, Christian, all these different things. And now they have the power of the internet where they can just amplify everything and keep us separated. First of all, everybody out there, we're Americans, okay? That should be first and foremost over everything, is we're Americans. I don't give a shit what color, pardon the French, what color we are Americans. And we all bleed black. We all bleed red. And that's the thing.
They might bleed black, but we're bleeding red.
And that's the problem, is it's gotten to a point where they now say, this is, you can watch, just go through YouTube and you'll see videos of, this person showing all how bad these colors are and how these colors are. And I know people that are, those colors that are perfectly fine, but they're going to keep pushing that. And it's been going for years, but it's really amped up. And same with the whole, and don't get me wrong, I think they are trying to infiltrate our country again, because we've been in other countries and places we shouldn't be, and let people fighting somebody's battles that we shouldn't be fighting. I think everybody knows who I'm talking about there. But there are, our political process is allowing people into our country that don't mean, good things for us. No. And we, the people, are still letting it happen. Our politicians said they would take care of it, and they're not. And
those silent majority out there, I address them at least once a week now, because I said, I don't know how many times I've heard from you, it's not the time to say this. The silent majority, it's like almost like it was a pin of approval. And I said, if the silent majority just said something, we could have gone on and we didn't have to like reconvene here and do damage control. Now you just like blew up part of our planet Earth here, and it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to go back and rebuild that without all these security cameras, with all of these, and now you let the lady at the dollar store think she can prescribe medication. And it's like all these people with the power and the grabs, and it's like, nah, this does not end well. And now you're like, oh, what do we do now? And I say, I'm not helping you this time. The people are going to have to learn that nobody's going to come to save them, because let me tell you how quickly they will throw you right to the wolves when they need to. And they really do. People need to learn freedom. Nobody is running to save you.
Nope.
You're going to have to save yourselves.
Yep.
And that means you're going to have to know people like Blackie and Erica and myself, even if I decide I'm going to help you this time. But I'm not going to help anybody who's going to push me out in front of the traffic and then stay in their little nice cushy office and call it a day. I'm like, how do you sleep at night?
Right.
Like, for real. It drives me insane.
I've seen too many people just they'll even say, I just want to live my life. And I'm like, that's great, but it's not just you. It's everybody around you. It's your family. It's your kids that you have. It's everybody. And the video you sent us the other day that we watched, you were doing exactly that. And that's what needs to happen more. And we started to see that with the COVID era. Now we need to start seeing it with politicians, for people to start going against the people that we put. Remember, they work for us.
Yes.
They're supposed to.
Yes, they are.
And they're not.
They are not. Right now they're doing a unservice. I said, nobody is paying their taxes for this unservice, because this is not a service that you're offering. I don't remember thinking, oh, I'm going to hire security so they can put up every single pole or camera around every single pole and wrap them around and know and tag and hold that data. And then when they get mad at someone, set off their little alarm. Like, I can't tell you how many times this has happened. And I'm like, this isn't fair. This is stalking. Like, I don't pay for this. I do not pay for this.
It's kind of gotten funny with this whole flock stuff. We have security cameras all around our house. When you lived in Dayton, Ohio, you learned to protect your property and you put security cameras up. We moved here and I just decided that, let's just put a security cameras up. We've got them pointed everywhere and whatever. Actually, our neighbors have done it now as well. We don't have any crime here. I mean, we've got probably some meth addicts, maybe a few fentanyl, whatever. That's pretty much normal place now. But these flock cameras come in and I'm going through the flock X page all the time, and how they're bragging about, well, we were able to locate. I'm like, dude, all you got to do is go to everybody's house and pick up their doorbell cams, and you'll see where these people went. We don't need your flock cameras.
And they can access most of those too?
Yeah. Yes,
I don't doubt that.
They can. They had
something in my city that came out with it, and my city went around to the neighbors and like, oh, just so we don't. So all these people, all these local. I know this is on my local page, but they would say the same thing if they were standing right here, and they can call me after, and I'll say the same thing, that this is so wrong. They're like, well, what if this happens? No, now you go and scan your driver's license. Now they're putting the facial. They're putting it all because they've got the technology. They have the technology. They're following you with the technology. They just technically can't use it yet. So you got an officer now, he just sits in the middle of the highway. He trusts AI is flagging it. Oh, and if you've been you got in a ticket within 30 days, that flags it. And then they pull you over for my son and I had 6 times in 1 week over this. And I was like, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. Yeah. And it was all law abiding ways, but it's too far. And I said, I'm just now starting to see the people in the city that some of the backlash. But my poor buddy, he and I, we went out, we were fighting the system. He was more he didn't, but we've always fought together, and we were high school friends. They still have him. He's been gone for over a year, and all of his charges locally have been dropped. The U.S. Marshals then came in for him. He's got on his Facebook. I was just showing Maya. I was like, you got to see this. This is what goes on in my city. Maya, I'm showing him. They're coming to his house now and taking and unhooking his cameras. They were waiting for him every which direction he went. He had cops. This was because both of us had fought out against the COVID and the mask, and he fought out against the somebody in the city and how they were using tax money, and he was a whistleblower. So they really, but this is how scary it is. We're like, where's Austin? Austin is still not home, and it's been well over a year. And it was great because when I went down, I was trying to write him a letter, get through, and they're like, oh, our system's been down for 7 months. So nobody's been able to reach somebody at this county jail for 7 months. Yeah. No. And if you sent snail mail, it came back. And I was like, Oh boy, these are dirty. And also, we spoke out against the pedophiles in the local police department that were known. That means they were charged, and we showed who their relatives were. And one of the relatives on that team was the one who really came for him and I on certain things. It was crazy.
Wow.
Mhm.
Gee.
Oh yeah, retaliation is not above them. Not above
Do you
them.
think this is also the beginnings of the social credit score
Absolutely.
for
Absolutely.
the US?
Mm-hmm.
For
Oh
the
yes,
world.
for the world. The world's already implemented most of it.
Yeah.
I said, guys, I hope you have because they are not even gonna. I'm not gonna be able to even be getting anything out of a vending machine at this point. You know, it's like, wow, where do I go here?
I saw a commercial where the lady, like, she was buying stuff at the store and she walked up with her palm and waved her palm over this, and your transaction is completed. And she was like, "Oh, this is so awesome." I'm like, have we gotten that stupid? Have we gotten that lazy that waving our hand because we have either fingerprint or a tag in our arm? Are we that happy with that? Because I know as an American, I'm not happy with any of that.
No.
If it's the future, it's the future. But I don't want to be a part of that. I really don't. For them to
Talk about the
track-
mark of the beast. Like that's
yeah.
bad enough right there.
They already have, I know that the flock guy always says, and I got into a verbal not a verbal online with Cam Higby about phones. He's like, phones do the same thing. They know where you're at all the time. So yeah, but a phone I can leave at home. Of my phone, I can turn off, notification or not notifications, but location services. Yeah, they still know where I'm at, but the satellites up there know where I'm at too. They can pick up a football if they need to with a satellite. So they always know where you're at. They're always going to know where you're at. How much surveillance are you willing to accept? And that's a big deal to me. I know my father passed in 21, and he was where I've gotten now. He was an anti-government guy, and he literally, like, with surveillance, I had to open his eyes. I'm like, "Hey, that's a real nice TV you bought there, Pops." He's like, "Yeah, you like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're watching you on it." He's like, "What do you mean?" So they have the ability. They've already talked about
mirrors.
it. They can go in and your camera and your phone and your TV and then film back at you. Do it on your phones. Because
if you had iPhones at one time, you could put a light. Like, I can't remember how exactly, but you could see every 5 seconds it was like taking a picture.
Oh yeah, it was taking pictures. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so how much are people willing to put up with that?
I'm ready to be recruited by the Blade Runners at this point, because I'm not above it. When I see and not that I want, but at some point this has got to stop. And they're not backing down. It's getting worse. I always keep an eye on the local police departments since they so nicely do to me. But I was seeing all these people that were like, "Oh my gosh, she's been stalking me for 2 years." I said, "Do you guys think this just happened? Is this going to get any better?" If you had seen what they did to my buddy, even he kept a lot of it public. He'd be like, "No way." And then they kept coming back for him and coming back for him. He got taken in on 2 pot charges. And then by the time we were ready, I'm like, "He's bailable. Let's go get him out." They had like a list. And we're like, you can't get these. You cannot get these charges. You had them in isolation for all this time. Nobody can call him. And they had the nerve. When I called on, they said, "You're not in our system." I said, "No, we both know that's a lie. Come on now." Because it was like they were coming. I mean, I had my car towed from a grocery store, and they said it was just like messing with me, like with different things. Like they didn't care. They didn't care how it was done. It was like a game. It was a game.
So I wonder, when I ask people, how much surveillance are you okay with? How much are you? And you get people that say, "Well, I don't do anything wrong. I don't mind how much they surveil me. I don't do anything wrong." Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, wait till your neighbor has a problem with you, or somebody has a problem with you, and they get AI involved, because they're going to teach you a lesson, and they don't really care if the lesson they're teaching you is the real lesson. They just have their own reasons for it.
It was the same. It's the same with red flag laws.
Yeah.
let's say her and I get into a excuse me, a shouting match, and somebody calls the cops. Now the cops come, and now that's documented that they came for a domestic call. So then we're put on a red flag list or red whatever and red flag list. They have the ability to take, we had a friend that had to go through it, and they took his guns away from him.
Oh my God.
He eventually got them back after he fought it in court, but that's not the way this is supposed to happen. No, it is what it is. It's stuff that I would love to be able to fight, but how
could we find a better way? I think there's a better way. I do. Honestly, I see a better way. I see how I got on. You guys should talk to my buddy Phil. He wrote what they call Democide in the UK. He came out in the heart of like when the whole COVID thing was coming, but they called out UK for like 50 years of medical things that they had done wrong. Iconic was the one that was backing in it for a while. Phil Graham is his name. And Phil was out there, and he's like one of us. But who did they ever come after him? Did they? But I have all the respect in the world for what he did. He really was like, and I always talk to him. I'm like, how do you do this in a way? Because I could clearly see one. The only problem is the rest of the people. You know what I mean? Like, you can only, at the end of the day, I found I had like 2,000 people in this group. And I look, and when it's their time to show up, I see none of them. I'm looking by, I'm like, there's got to be one, right? With my son. My son's ready to go into the school with no mask on. Just tell me that there's one person here. No, there was not. Just him and me.
It's funny because a lot of people will talk the talk. Yeah. Finding somebody to walk the walk is the hardest part, And that's been a big thing. I told her there was a time when we were going on when the COVID thing was going on, we had to wear masks. If I saw one person, even in the store or outside the store without a mask, I'm like, I'm not wearing my mask. I'm not doing it. There's no reason.
That's why I did it. I did it. My sister was all mad, and I said, you didn't, after I got through today and I didn't go in looking like I had origami flapping in front of my face. Like, how insulting. I said, how stupid. I've been kicked out of a court of law for doing this. I said, I'm not doing this. How do you guys not think that you look stupid at this point? Like, I'm done, and I'm tired of looking so stupid. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm sorry for everybody. But she like came out, and her gown was, and she was like out and came back. But what I figured out was that officer was standing outside the courtroom trying to get me to go out there. I said, he can't come in here when I'm in the courtroom. So I took like 40 minutes to, give them my whole spiel down and the whole thing. And then I graciously just backed my way slowly through that door. I thought that lady, you could see like the fire in her eyes. She was not playing. And the sheriff said to me, he's like, ma'am, we appreciate what you're doing here, but you're not gonna win this. And I said, well, I'm sure going to try, because if I don't try and at least put in some effort here, I said, tomorrow this will be far worse than it was today.
Yeah,
it's an excellent point.
Yep. And I'm looking at some of the chats here, and somebody said, once you give them freedom, it's so difficult to get them back without a fight. And that's 100% true. Mm-hmm. In the same way, Magneticus says space 6 feet apart. And I questioned that. I said, when a human sneezes, when a human sneezes, he can that travels up to 30 feet. So who decided it was 6 feet would be perfect? If I sneeze in a handkerchief, my sneeze is still coming out of that handkerchief, and it's going to travel so far, because people weren't told to wear, N95 masks. They were just like, cover your face.
We sent all those to China before. Most people didn't realize that. If we went back into China, we have a sister city in China. Everybody should look into their cities to see if they have a sister city. You will be alarmed. And here in the sister city, it says they can see in through all of our cameras, and they set us up for the whole COVID response. And I can even pull the paperwork and show you. And they, we sent all of our PPE off to them in February.
Do you remember the medical ships that our president sent to New York City? And we sent these big ships out, never used them. Remember, it was like, oh, this disease is horrible. These people are dying. Well, we better send these big medical ships out so you can, what better place to go than on a ship out in the water where, there's no other people around except the doctors that are fully covered. Nobody ever said it was just a way for them to do better dance videos.
I know. Oh yeah. I can't remember what those were called. When I found out that was them doing it, I first was like, oh, that's kind of funny, flash dancing, and then I was like, you mean they're saying because they they need to go find some work because they're telling people.
Yes.
And I was making these videos and showing like coffins going, and I'm like, they were going nowhere. Like this is how crazy they show. Some of the stuff that they were showing, and I was putting them out and like I'm putting in videos out because what I did was we'd run freedom cruises and we couldn't because there'd be too many police then if we a spectacle, obviously, if we did it that way. So we used to anonymously send it out to everybody, the locations, and then we give them maps and then where to meet, and then we go on our merry way. But yeah, we took them best like the city council members' houses, and it's like all these people you want to hide in your head in the sand and want to put on all these regulations, but you don't want to even address the people at that time. They did not act like we needed any sort of explanation whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
Coley, I have to go back to what you were saying and you were describing, about wearing a mask. What's your feeling or thought when you see people now with a mask on in the store? Isn't it so random?
I ask them what they're doing. I can't. I'm like, why are you still wearing that? If you are wearing that, you probably. And what I started finding out, and even with Brody's like teacher, when especially they had two of them on, I said to his principal, I said, that is a mental health issue. Not a brain health. You're trying to change the words. No, a mental health issue. And they would never argue with that. They would argue with everything else. And I was like, I think they know this.
Yeah.
They must know that this is like, and so I was like, because they would make my son, they told my son he was a public health threat, that he may or may not have been chewing with other kids with food in his mouth. And I was like, so you're watching my child on cameras now? And now the school cameras, they have the same one. So then the police department can see them through the school cameras. And I'm like, so this is what I said. And they don't like it when you say this. I said, we have these weird fires going through Canada. It's kind of making me stuffy. I apologize.
Oh yeah.
But they have these weird cameras. And I said, so the police can now see in the schools. And then like, what are we doing here? These are minors.
Yeah.
It was like I would never let him, there was no Zoom meeting that ever made it in my house during any sort of lockdowns. With the one time they wanted him to come in after the other kids, and I said, you think you're going to segregate my child? You're crazy. So we do it. I said, you go tell the state of Iowa why he can't be there for your Iowa test of basic skills. He said, it's against the law. I said, well, I don't think that I'm breaking it. I said, it may be against the law for you, but it's not for me. So you're telling me if he has to go in, then I'm not going to do that. He is not going to be segregated. He is not going to be isolated. You've already tried to stick him down in the basement. You tried to stick him every which direction, and you've done your, And so I said, there's no point in the United States of America have we ever said that we are going to restrict the healthy for people who are sick. The world is not your hospital. This is not, I'll go gladly get your groceries if you just stop this crazy nonsense and just go and sit inside, because I don't really think that, it's like, how fun is this? This is not a hospital. Like this, we are not living, the world is not your hospital. The schools are not your mental institutions. Like you people need to get a hold on what's going on here. Because you could tell some people they were just not going to give it up. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
this is a diagnosis. Anytime they had mental health issues going into this, they were amplified.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oof. I remember going into the grocery store and, at the time masks were enforced for everyone. And, everything was so weird. But going down a single grocery store aisle, you know,
Oh, it's a
sharing it with
line.
one other person, and they would just look at you. It felt so judgmental, and you're like,
I know.
but you're both wearing a mask at that point, and it was just so
I never did.
divisive.
I never
Well,
ever
and
did.
and then the
People were like, whatever. I just kept going, and I had a way, like, to get to the hardest part was getting through like the medical associates, like the doctor's office. But what I did
Oh,
was
yeah.
I started yelling, "Call the police, or I'm going to call them on you." From the time I got in the parking lot, through the thing, and down the hall to where everybody was just kind of like. So I was like, okay, that worked. So that's bad. Those when I tell you, like, I had some of the probably the worst ideas, the craziest moments, but it was I had to find a way to get there and do it that way, and so that's what I found to do at the doctor's office. I bet they still talk about that to this day.
oh boy, I love it.
I mean, my friend's like, I can't make it through there. I said, you got to start carrying. When you pull out and I said, the first foot you get out of your car door, you start there. Okay. You don't care. Don't worry about the neighbors. Don't worry about who's around you. You got to get from point A to point B. And until then, you yell louder than they are and just go.
Well, then they kept changing the message. If you get the shot, then you're going to be fine. You can't pass it to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Then they say, well, if you get the shot, you can still get it, but it's better than not getting the shot. And then people who got the shot started dying, and it was just like, my dad died in 21 of COVID. My dad had COPD. He's a cancer survivor. He smoked his whole life up until he had cancer. So he wasn't the healthiest individual in the world. He walked like a question mark. He's been all over. He was hurting. And so he goes into the hospital and they're telling him he has COVID. And I said, he doesn't have COVID. He doesn't have anything you talk about people having COVID. He's got a runny nose, whatever. So then it was I think 1 or 2 days. And next thing you know, he's on a incubator.
Oh, that's where they're, yeah.
And once that happens so
Yeah.
we're in there, and I was in there when he took his last. I guess he was already passed. He had already passed, but he was still breathing on a machine. So they took the machine off, and they write down the date, the time and everything. And I said, "What are you putting down for his what kills him or what killed him?" They're like, "Cause of death," and they're like, "COVID." I'm like, "No, it's not COVID. COVID did not kill him." He had so many other things. Do not put that down, because I knew that hospitals were getting kickback from it. But that angered me that they were doing that. You the ones, you weren't going to try anything that was suggested. You put him on, an intubator right away. Didn't try any medications really, the ones that would probably help. But I kick myself in the butt now, saying maybe you should have tried the ivermectin, or maybe you should have tried the other one, I can't even pronounce it.
Remdesivir?
No, not remdesivir. That's the one that was killing people.
But I think you did mention that at some point. I think you told me that, but they were just like, no,
Yeah,
that won't help.
they just kind of.
It was always.
Oh,
no.
yes. They were, oh my gosh, they were making such mockeries. Oh, look at what they're doing now. Like,
Yeah.
this and
Oh,
this.
horse
And this.
dewormer.
If you would have seen us, how we had to walk into that room, put this gown on with gloves and a mask with face shield and a helmet on it, and I mean, I thought I was going into Chernobyl. I mean, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
It was like double, triple mask.
Oh,
it
wow.
was crazy.
And I'm just like, so the day he's passing, my mother and I go to the room, and they're making us gown up, and I'm like, wait a second, why am I gowning up if he's passed away? Basically, in the ink, and the machine's keeping him alive. Why? Well, can you just wear a mask? I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah. See, this is where they'll ask you, like, can you just go fan one up and then walk in? No. What is this about? Yeah. That's crazy. You didn't do it, I hope. That's terrible.
No.
Good for you. Good for you.
I just thought that I think I thought more like my father would think, and my father would have been against. My father was old school. He'd have been against everything. In fact, right now, I'm glad he's not alive. And I know that sounds horrible because he would literally be having a heart attack every day from all the crap going on in this country. You know, when men started using men started using women's restrooms, my dad would have been like, "Ain't happening."
Oh boy, not on my grandfather's time either. No, that would have been. They were, First Division Marine Corps. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And I said, when those guys did, none of this would have happened with those good timers around. Like they really.
That was me.
That was Erica when she
going into the room. I had a cloth mask and some other mask, and then a clear visor mask, and then like everything, gown, gloves, foot gloves, like it was the whole thing covered.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, and that's it's created now a generation of kids that are off mentally, less educated. And I don't want to be the old guy that talks about how kids are, there are a lot of good kids out there, but it really hurt their educations.
Yeah.
Having them in, wearing masks, it's hurt them.
My kid never wore one. He didn't. But he was isolated. I gave him the choice. I said, Brody, you can either choose, because he had to go and see. One time we were going skating and he's like, the guy wants me to put one on to walk 2 feet in through the door. And I said, what's your choice, Brody? He said, he's like, I'd rather keep my dignity. Those are not my words. Those were not my words. Those were his words. And he turned around. He said, I'll meet you in the car. Because he knew that I was going in. I was like, okay, what's the deal here? Like, well, you can't tell me that walking a foot, this is why we come here and why I bought all these cards, right? Galore. He's like, you bring kids here without masks. I said, you're right. They don't. I throw them out the moment they get in the car. They're dirty. And I really don't want to touch that. I said, I see people going in and out of that bathroom all day long. I said, they're not washing their hands because you have no hand soap in there 3/4 of the time. And then when you're touching them, I was like, you take that breeding ground and you throw that away because it's not coming with me.
Well, the restaurant. Remember the restaurant thing? You had to wear a mask until you sat down at your table. Then you could take your mask off. And I'm like, seriously? That's one of the dumbest things. I have to eat, and people were, slipping their food under their mask. You're touching my groceries. None of it made sense. Oh God. So, am I supposed to go home and wash every item of I buy at the grocery? I can't wash a cardboard box. I can't wash my rice-a-roni in the sink with,
I used to make popcorn and treats and stuff at the skating thing, and I'd always open them. I'd be like, you guys want some? And one guy's like, opened his up. I was like, yeah. I took a whole thing. He's like, you can have them now. I'm like, for real? Are you guys kidding? Like, we've been skating. We sweat together. Like, I was on roller derby. I mean, like, you can't get closer than that. And you're now worried that give me a break. I said, but I'll take it, though. That was kind of good popcorn. It was like, everybody just kind of, it doesn't bother me in the least, but I said, you all need to learn to handle your own issues. It's not my issue. This is not my problem. Mm-hmm. And if I get it, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to worry about so-and-so, then after I'm done worrying about so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, like, at what point are they worrying about you? At what point? They worried about me so much they didn't think I needed health care. They went as far as to try and mace me in the doctor's office, and nobody did anything. Nobody did anything. I was there, and the lady hasn't. I said, I took it to a point. I said, all right, lady. Brody's like, sometimes he's like, you get that I don't know. He said that. He calls it, he said, you get a little hood in you. And I was like, I don't care what you call it, Brody. I don't care what you call it. All right. I said, if you think that thing is going to spread, I said, that is assault. I said, now we are talking a whole other thing. One more time. And then I said to the people, but they were just sitting behind their plexiglass doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then she was going I was the problem for every single, you could hear it all the way through. And I thought, Kier, of course I'm the problem. The person who doesn't even know the stinking lady here first sat on the opposite side of the room, nowhere near her, but she didn't want to have to wear that mask. necessarily. She's like, I gotta go outside now. I said, then go outside. Go for the love of God, So then I finally get back there. My doctor's like, are you agitated today? Are you? And I said, are you serious right now? I said, this is what am I agitated? Hell yeah, I am agitated. I just almost got maced out in your waiting room, and the two people, those nice people that do the scheduling, they're not going to help anybody. They are behind their plexiglass, and they wouldn't so much as even pick up a phone. She was like, I mean, I said, this is crazy. So the lady who I had as a doctor, I happened to have a friend who she's like, she reminds me just of you. She's like, so she wrote in my documents that I could only see a doctor in person without a mask. And I was like, thank you. One of the saviors,
Go ahead.
Well, we actually both were tested. We had it. And it was Christmas. Like it was that week of Christmas into New Year's.
That's when I think I had it too.
2020.
Think so.
And anyhow, when we went to like the urgent care to get tested, I absolutely had to get tested for work. Like there was no way around it. And so we get in there and she's like, I'm like, I know I don't feel good, but it's like a cold or whatever. Like I just knew I didn't feel good, but nothing else was really weird except for the weird like social aspect of it. And like it was becoming an alert, it was becoming a big deal, across the US. And so all the newness of that. So we get there and I'm like we get in there, it's a tiny room and we're both in the same room. And so like I'm not claustrophobic, but there was a little bit of that uncomfortable, like kind of crammed in
back
there.
up a little bit. Yeah. Can we have our own space?
And so they test us and everything. And then she's like, your oxygen is extremely low. Like you need to go to the hospital as soon as you're done here. I'm like, I understand what I just said. Like, I'm not completely comfortable, but I'm not dying. I'm not like, there's not an actual.
And are you
issue
having
right
this
now.
PPE on? Are you going in with a mask? Because I'd imagine nobody's breathing well.
I think we were early enough that we didn't have the masks yet.
Well, I don't probably to get there, but not like anything really overbearing. But again, all that stuff was new. And so you had all these regulations and crap. But so I'm like, I understand maybe my level is not like my normal, but I'm like, I know how I feel. And I did not feel like it was something that I should go to the hospital over. But she was like, so serious about it. Like, you really need to go to the hospital as soon as you leave here. I'm like, I don't like that pressure. I'm not going to the hospital.
You think she was trying to scare you or something?
Yeah.
I think 100%.
100%.
Yep.
I'm like, no, why would I go there? There's so many reasons. Why would I go there?
We were sitting in the room and I looked at her. I was like, do you feel like you need to go to the hospital? And she said, no. And I said, well, we're not going to the hospital then.
Yeah. I'm like,
I mean, if you're not passing out on the floor and you're okay, let's go home then.
well, we never, like, we would do regular visits as needed, to the doctor or whatever. But, I wasn't aware enough to know what my oxygen level should be. I didn't have issues with that before. So I couldn't judge by a number or by a scale that she's telling me, but I could judge by how I was feeling. And there was nothing like other than a cold, but it was like, she just approached it with so much pressure. I'm like, that's not cool, man. I'm not going. There's no need for me to go.
And, all of that happened in 2020 has changed everybody's life now. Life went completely different directions with that. There were loved ones that lost other loved ones because, somebody posted in chat. It wasn't their mom or dad didn't pass away because of COVID. They died because of isolation, loneliness.
I don't know.
And that there should be heads should roll for that.
Yeah.
In my book. I mean,
yes.
that to me is murder. And you know how somebody chooses, like, well, you're having Christmas, but you can't have more than 5 people in your house.
Mhm.
It's my mother house. Don't tell me how many people I can have in here. And that's the kind of where we got. And I think I just, from that point on, I never loved the government, but it just got to a point where things needed to change. How are we going to change this? Too many people are being sheep and letting things happen, and not like what I saw of you at the school thing, not being that type of person, not standing up for the rights of people, for you. And I'm hoping that people start becoming that. They tried this hantavirus thing. Remember, that was the latest one. If you get now the explosive diarrhea was the latest one. But
they're going to find another one. Did you know about Event 201 when that was going on?
I've heard of it.
Excuse me. If you had seen Event 201 in the making, right before that, it was like I said when I watched it, I was like, wow, they have media. This is how they're training the media. Operation Mockingbird, if that tells you anything, most CIA had infiltrated in at that point, and it had not they have never come and apologized and said they'd done it different. Those were training videos. You saw the whole thing, and they had to interrupt Event 201 because, wow, the COVID came. Now, they claim there's supposed to be another one. I believe Gates when he says that they'll try another one. This one, I really honestly think they needed a global inventory. We're in the 4th Industrial Revolution. You can see all the changes of technology going on around us. What they said this was for is not what it was for. They needed a way to get everybody into their homes.
I thought that the hantavirus, what was shown already, was like a preview of more to come.
Oh, do you feel that way?
Yeah.
I think for me, every time a disease comes around now, the news has to make a big deal out of it, i.e. hantavirus, exploding diarrhea from lettuce or whatever it is.
Oh, the lettuce. I forgot.
I loved that because they were like, yeah, you can't eat Taco Bell's lettuce because it gives you explosive diarrhea. And I'm like, hell, Taco Bell gives me explosive diarrhea. So that's, how am I going to know?
We ate Taco Bell during the mid of it. But I said, Brody, I don't believe in any of this stuff. Like,
no, here's the thing is they get it. They say these things so that I'm not even going to say you, so that people will follow because they want followers. It's the best way for control is to follow people. So once they say something and they say it on the mainstream news, and there's those generations of people that are like, oh, this is going to be bad. I better listen to everything they say. And then they do. And then you find out, well, it wasn't really that bad. They're testing people. They're testing how big a sheep we are. And we've got to stop. We've got to do something.
Oh, yes.
We're going to know if a disease comes around that kills you. We're going to know. It's going to kill you now.
I said to people, go look outside the streets. Anybody see anybody dropping dead? I see nobody dropping dead. And that's what they told us was going to happen. But there's nobody. This isn't happening to anybody. Oh, the hospitals. I went into the hospitals. The hospitals were vacant during that time. Vacant.
Well, one of the things they did was like, well, that the COVID floor is full. I'm like, yeah, they closed like 4
No, they
rooms.
closed it. Yeah. They closed. They even said, so the board of health here at one point, they're like, the guy came forward. He's like, if you tell your people just to wear a mask for 3 months to curb the spread. I said, I don't know what you're talking about, people. But I'm just a concerned citizen like everybody else. But, I'm not going to tell people to do something when I absolutely know that's not the case. They're not going to trust me again. Are you going to write this down somewhere? Because I'm not for 3 months. That's my whole summer. And you're not getting anything. I'm not doing this. I absolutely am not doing it. And I don't know why. But if somebody even came, like, I remember a guy was at the Wives getting ready, and I don't know why he didn't stop me. I was on a 20-minute, mask explanation, and that's to put it kindly. I mean, I had a whole spiel. I could go for 50 minutes, an hour, no problem. Not even a breath, I don't think. This guy comes up and he puts his stuff down, lifts his head up. I'm in the pool. I'm like, oh my God. I was like so animated. I was like, what are you going to rob us? And I was like, why would you sit here? And ladies like, come over here. I was like, he just sat here and listened to me talk about this for 20 minutes. And then you come, what do you do? He's like, is it the mask? And I was like, I gotta go. What do you mean is it the mask? Like, what do you yes, it's the mask. God.
Gosh, so much weirdness back then.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Everything got
He was like, he
everything
wasn't
got messed up.
listening. Yeah. Oh, and then I realized he was coming out and he was I was like, oh, he's hanging his clothes out here, not because he wants a quick exit in and out. No, he just want to put it in the locker room because of the I was like, Lord have mercy.
Well, I think now they're thinking to themselves, how are we going to get people to fall for this again? Do you remember the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah.
And you remember 3 or 4 years ago, somebody blew them up. I
Yes.
think, in my opinion, of course, the reason they did that is because people were really starting to believe the world population numbers on there. They were really starting to like, is our government really want to go down to this many people? Or,
Yeah.
and I think somebody's like, the people are kind of catching on to this. We might want to blow this thing up. And I think we never found out who did it, even though there's cameras all over the place.
Yeah.
Maybe should have had their flock cameras then. I don't
Oh, I know those flock cameras would have been coming great and handy.
Yeah.
We have a surveillance. I just saw on my city's site. We have civilian snitchers. Like, and I can't even believe the people. If you are the ones that are going down there and you are these people, we're not the same. Okay. And we're probably not going to be friends after this because I don't believe in any of this. And they are having civilians. On what point of commonality, I mean, I don't know if you've read the Communist Manifesto, but I've read it actually a few different times. And this right here is like some classic. We're moving right into socialism.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they talk about jobs from according to what Zach Voorhees, who said from Google, who released all those Google Docs, he said, it's not a matter of if. He's like, we're already too far into this within the next year. And then we will be given a robot tax. And that's how is that? And that's why they need everybody controlled. That's why they need everything controlled. They have an inventory of everything that we own and we have.
Yeah.
That's what
Who was the Russian? Yuri Bezmenov? Is he the one that talked about the best way to destroy the United States? They talked to him. He said, this is the way you destroy a society. And he starts going through all these things and everything that he was talking about. This was in the 70s. Yeah, exactly. It's going on right now. And, I guess you'd call it like the CIA playbook, but I think and Roger said something in chat about Gen X doesn't get scared of anything. No, because we grew up with drinking out of garden hoses. And
we did.
It wasn't something that we were afraid of. Well, let's see what it does to us. It's kind of what we worried about. And, I can remember being a teenager and something being in the refrigerator and like, oh, it's got some green on it, but let's go ahead and try it.
That pizza that's been
did okay,
It's fine. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know how we're still alive. But we are. It's like, yeah, the street lights. I remember hot wiring a moped my neighbor had and knew how to do that at like 14, pull a plug, kickstart it. But it wasn't like I was trying to steal. I just wanted to go ride it around the block. It's like we did fun stuff back then.
Yeah.
I said, Brody, don't you guys, but my son, he's very much like that. He says, I'm not going when I tell him it's time to go to the doctor. Some once in a while with his ear, he's like, I don't believe in big pharma. I tell you that. So I'm like, I was like, okay, Brody. And then he uses words. It's so funny. He's so good about, because he'd have to sit there. When we go into the doctor's office, he knew we would go in with no mask ever. And he knew it would be like 25, 30 minutes before, because I had a whole thing. If it was the front lady, I'd be like, Brody, grab me the HEPA book. So I'd start reading through their responsibilities, because this isn't a law, this is like, but this is, so usually when you get to like page, or I look around behind them and see what they have written responsibilities to the patients. They always have those. Those were
Yeah.
one guy got really mad. I found those. He was throwing his box in. I was like, those are dirty now. That's dirty. I said, you don't have to act like you're crazy over this. You know, like I was, yeah, they're probably like,
Dirty now.
yeah. He's like grabbing. He was like, just wanted me so badly. I said, go get the security, please. Let's get this on the road so we can get going, you know?
Coley's walking in ready.
Oh yeah, I had a plan. Everybody. I really did. You should see some of the ones I have executed. You'd be like, no way. And I sure did. And I said that was the only way. I was going to figure a way in and figure a way out. And if that's what it took. And so, yeah, the pharmacy one, I think, was probably the best.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, one of our things that got us in is we try to do. I told my mom one time when we moved to Tennessee, I was like, I want to tell you something funny, Mom, but you're probably going to not think it's funny. And she's like, what's that? I said, we eat our yard. And she's like, huh? I said, no, we pick dandelions. We pick all the healthy things out of our yards that are good for your body. Because to me, if the Native Americans did this stuff, they didn't have pharmaceuticals or anything. You know, this is, you know, what you can jump down, and I'm sure you have the whole Rockefeller oil pharmaceutical rabbit hole, which is and realize that maybe
they're with the Rockefeller Initiative.
Yeah. And I forgot the other day I was looking at one of my presidential charts, and I forgot David Rockefeller was one of our vice presidents. I did forget that. Anyway, so we try to do everything naturally as best as we can. You know,
dandelion tea is amazing. Stuff like that is so good for you.
We haven't been sick and probably, well, since 2020, after the COVID thing, we never really got sick.
I don't think so.
And I refuse to go to the doctor because I refuse. If I don't have a pain and you're going to go for, you know, well, you need to check for, I have a colonoscopy. Well, now I'm hearing bad things about colonoscopy.
I'm never doing that again.
No. I had a big doctor. If that says anything, my doctor was a pretty big guy. So, you know, when I went in for exams and stuff like that, the last thing you wanted to hear was the snap of the rubber glove because you knew what you were going. I can't imagine.
What is it called when you go down your throat? No, they did. They went down my throat one time, and I felt everything. And I got up and I said, I was so mad. I said, I will never, ever go through that again. You put my arms down, and then he put something over my head, and then he shoved some big tube down my throat. I was awake. I said, I was so mad. The guy told me, you get out of here. I said, gladly. And I won't come back. I would never do that ever again. I won't.
But then let's say you go in for a cold, and then you get amoxicillin, or they give you what's the other one?
I don't do that anymore.
Z-Packs, and they give you those things, and you don't know what's in amoxicillin, and you don't know what's in Z-Pack. Okay, so hey, go home, grab some herbs out of your yard, grab a tea, whatever, and work with that. Work with something more natural. And I will guarantee you, like sore throat, she's drinking honey, or, you know, putting
ginger, garlic,
manuka honey.
Meal. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, you know, and Roger even said here, you know, since he started doing the natural stuff, he feels so much better.
But
and go ahead.
That ties back into what I was saying earlier about my products. You know, pretty much after 2020 and all that junk, and not, you know, our opinions and feelings about going to the doctor changed. And so since then, we've pretty much tried as much as possible, reasonably, you know, to take matters into our own hands. And so along with that came, you know, the awareness and reading the articles and finding out about the microplastics and, the contaminants that are in everyday products. So, you know, one by one, I would start making my own whatever. And so that, you know, eventually led to me making my own products. It ties back into, though, with my traumatic brain injury, because, you know, those all can affect your memory. And so, like, getting started, you know, ahead of the game, if you want to say, and trying to eliminate those those contaminants as much as possible, to try to help protect our memory and our brains, and then other bodily functions too.
Well, one of the things that really got me into the natural, besides, I didn't like pharmaceuticals, is I pulled this product. I'll turn it around so you can't read the name of it, but we know what this is. We find it by our sinks all the time. And if you've ever read the back of one of these dish detergents, you can't pronounce 99% of the things that are on.
I know.
And a lot of these things that are on here are absolutely horrible for you. Now, people say, well, I put them on my dishes, or I put it in the dishwasher. I wash my hands. My hands are in there unless you're using dish gloves. And maybe that's why they created dish gloves in the beginning. Wasn't to keep your hands dry. It was to keep your hands from soaking these chemicals up. But then you put these on your dishes, you clean them, you rinse them. This stuff has sticking agents, meaning that it sticks to what you put it on. It doesn't completely wipe off. Well, then you read that a lot of these are like nerve agents. Okay. It cleans oil off of ducts. Okay. That should be a sign that you don't want to put this on your body. But people don't pay attention. It cleans their dishes. It smells good.
And then he used that. He researched and found a way to get rid of weeds.
Yeah, it's a weed. I use it.
It's a weed killer.
Yeah.
And so that puts it into a different perspective. And, just things like that. We try to become more aware.
Yeah.
So Erica, do you have a website that you have your
I have an
products
page. I'll
Okay.
type it on here.
It's
I'll type it from my phone.
It's everything she uses. We try to use, well, I won't say we because it's her company. She tries to use everything made in the United States
as much as possible.
as much as possible. I'm a pro. Again, I'm a patriot.
But like my shea butter, it's from overseas.
Well, that better change. Anyway, but everything's natural. We are trying to keep, like, she uses honey from our small town here. So we're trying to use our environment, our city, our town, whatever you want to call it, and basically Tennessee and the United States. We want people to feel comfortable with what products that you're using and not have to worry about getting cancer or, the things that they've created. Everything that creates cancer.
Yeah.
We know aluminum causes, is one of the causes of Alzheimer's as well.
Yeah.
And that's something I worry about because I was a tool and die maker for 30 years. And my last 10, all I did was work with aluminum. So I worry about, possibly getting dementia someday. So
think about all the aluminum that we had. That the ADHD thrives off of that aluminum.
Yep. And we've been aluminum free, like deodorant aluminum free, for probably about 6 years now, I'd say.
Right, at least.
But
I just think about all the canned beans we grew up on, corn. I mean, everything. Aluminum.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think of all the aluminum beer cans I used to drink beer out of.
When you step back and you look at it, I always so I'm a big label reader, for one. Okay. I read labels a lot out of interest, and we don't know until we're finally told, man, that is very bad for you. And it seems to be concealed most of the time. You really have to put forth the effort to find out this information.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. But I always like the marketing side of things, or the psychology part of things. And so kids or candy, we'll just say candy in general, isn't it mostly colorful?
Mm-hmm.
It
Skittles.
draws you in.
Oh.
They put so much into the marketing of cereal boxes. Okay. Just for example, that. And if you look at it and then you see all the food dyes, you see all the different colorants that they use, and all of those are addictive. For one, it brings you in because it looks inviting. It looks fun. It looks, oh my God, that looks like, a cherry color, cherry, but it's not anything cherry, natural cherry. And it's just there's this marketing that goes with it that draws you in. And you don't realize until you start reading about it how addictive and how bad these ingredients can be for you.
Look at through time. Look in the 40s and 30s and 40s. People weren't obese. People were eating, cooking with lard. They were using all these things that nowadays are frowned upon. And then we went to an era where we, like Roger posted, aluminum. Says mom cooked in aluminum pots, aluminum foil. All this different stuff started being used, and then all these really big diseases started kicking in. What's the child? I can't
Autism.
think. Autism became really big. ADHD, ADD.
My buddy said he's like 2 of his kids, and he said when he took them in, they were so close in age. When he took them in, he said one by one, he said they got the vaccines. He could see the light go out in their eyes, is the way that he described it.
That's so sad.
I know.
So you think about back to big pharma. That's why we refuse to, unless something really needs to be done. I'm hearing now that even cancer treatments for people going through cancer treatment.
I heard this too. I heard this too.
Is bad, is part of the problem as well. So,
it's so true. And I think, if they told me tomorrow that that was the case, I don't know if I'd believe them. Like, I'd really need some extended because of all of the lies. Like, why am I? And then I'm seeing people go on these treatments, and I'm like, did you see it for yourself? Like, can you feel? It's like you got to be asking. You can go. When I was a therapist, I was like, man, this is the real eye opening. You'd have 10 different clients. We'd have them along the way, and nobody could agree upon a diagnosis. Nobody. Well, it might be this or it might be that for this reason, for that reason. And I'm like, how about we just, was like, we don't need to be labeling it. And we definitely don't need to be labeling it to them, because you do that. And then you put people into a label, and then they start to take on the attributes of that label. I don't like labels.
Yeah.
I don't like rules.
I'm with you.
I think people should be able to think for themselves and act right for themselves. So I don't think that we have to structure all society for a couple people, because this is so true. Crazy.
But the object is to keep us in a group and keep us, what I always say, keep us medicated and dumb, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Why is fluoride in our water? Why do they do that? And then you get dentists going, well, like, you take the fluoride out of the water, we're going to have more teeth issues, more rotten teeth. I'm like, really? I don't think so. And I'm going to go back to say that I believe fluoride is in food to dull that pineal gland, calcium that baby up. That's I believe that 100%.
Oh yeah.
So.
You guys are on the right path. Let me tell you, Oh yeah. I've caught a couple of your shows, and I sat back. I was like, bravo. Because you do it in a way, it's like not everybody likes me for the way I do it. That's okay. But everybody has their own way. I'm like, but you know what? Like this right here is what I support. You're doing something good. You're doing something positive. Not even that, you have a positive product to bring something that's good for people along with that. And that's amazing. I'd love to add your link, and I'll get your link out to you, and I'll look through and see kind of what you have for stuff. And and I would love to go through and order a few things. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my Etsy page or my Etsy shop. It's a condensed version of the business name, but I'll type it in here. You don't really need to know it, but the Etsy shop will be there.
Yeah, no, I can put it out. It's going out. Mine goes out on audio. So even if you say it out loud, not all of the video goes to the audio side, but it is out, and we are being transcribed in 180 countries. So I'm not sure how far, like the UK, like the US, Canada, I'm sure that's still Etsy territory, right?
Probably.
Mine is, my shop is just USA.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not shipping international.
Oh, yeah. Not yet.
But I just want to say real quick, what we were talking about. Another one like deodorants and toothpaste, and which also I would be curious to see. It's amazing when you see the products overseas compared to ours.
I know.
I love to see people's reactions to Americans' products because, or, how we eat, how often we eat, the size of meal we eat. And I know you can't group us all into one. We're all so different. But just overall, I always like to see that reaction and see how it is there. But
the UK, they're like, you guys eat so much sugar. Like, it's like,
but see, it's crazy because people do eat so much sugar and don't even think about it. They're not even aware that it's an issue, until you try to take away the sugar, and then
they start feeling that
things change.
That
my head hurts.
Going off sugar.
But the other part, deodorant, toothpaste, laundry detergent. Like I make laundry soap. And laundry detergent, like there are very well-known names, and people brag about how good it smells. You'll walk past somebody and you can smell what they wash their clothes in. Well, that is a chemical that bonds to your fabric. That is not a good thing,
And then you go and you put it back into the water supply.
Yep.
Yeah. But people don't realize or don't think about your skin is the body's largest organ.
Yes, it is.
So yes, we smell it. Do you realize that your body is taking this in? It's making contact with your body.
Pores
and so
and
it's not
else.
something you're drinking or eating, but it's something that your body is absorbing,
100%.
It's crazy.
You should do some life coaching like that. Do you ever do any like health coaching, Erica, or get into that?
No.
I could see you doing it, girl. You're good at it.
I get very passionate about, I think you can relate. I've heard you say some things where, things have happened. I've been through a rough road on certain things, and I don't want people to have to go through that rocky road. If I can help them and just like, hey, break it down for them. The things we've been talking about, it's like a lot of people don't realize or take the time to, the way that we're raised, the way that things are marketed to us, we just accept them and live life. We don't put the pieces together until we realize there's an issue. And then we got to backtrack, and then it's like, well, how do we fix this? And I really like to bring awareness. And then Chad and the things, that we've talked about and learned together, I think that's what's helped me get even more passionate about it, is seeing the differences and, helping people. We both like to help people. So.
Oh, absolutely.
You should have like a little segment, like a girls segment, like because I'm telling you, I would eat it up. Maya loves the holistic stuff like that. So many of us out there. I think that would be fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
That
If you
would
ever
be a
need
great
help
show, honey. Great episode.
I would be there taking notes. Like, yeah.
Oh,
And then the men can cook big, nice meals for when you're done, and you need food and drinks. You need drinks, right? You could hold and stamp all the products.
Yes.
You can come, Blackie. We're not saying you can't come.
I like the moisturizer on my skin. It makes my skin.
You need, yes. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't have a model. You'd be the good model. Show us how it's like. I love it.
You can't be bored around this guy.
I try not to let anybody get bored.
I say, yeah, I remind Roger's got that some of that fire in him too. I said that it's the Generation Xers, the Generation Degenerates is what I call ourselves. I love it.
I want to say something while Roger's in chat. I never really get to. Roger was the first person that got us into the Bigfoot thing, where I started getting into the cryptids and everything, and we kind of blossomed from there. But that is he is one of the best people I've literally ever met. Now,
Yeah,
Roger,
he's
don't
great.
cry, but he's literally one of the best. He's now helping me. I know last night he was talking about his music and what he's doing there. And I had some questions for him because I started doing it too.
Yeah, you guys are. I love your intro.
Yeah, well, that was Roger, but he just asked me what I wanted, and at the time I was like, well, he's like, you've got pictures of you in a kilt. I was like, bagpipes then. So he did I'm a big metal head and I love metal, so I'm like, do some metal and some some bagpipes. So yeah, he created our intro and I love it. I'll send you. But
yeah, I have it.
Tina C.
Men have to take care of their skin too. That's absolutely right.
Yes, Tina. Yes, Tina, girl. No, she knows. Yeah.
Tell him. He was joking about the moisturizer, but tell him.
I use the sugar scrub. I'm bald, so when I shave my head, I rub the sugar scrub in, do it here and here, and I use her lotions. And what I tell everybody is, I look pretty good for a 95-year-old. I mean, this is 95. It looks great. It's how I handle it.
So goofy.
So.
No, he really does like to use the sugar scrub, and
I try to be as healthy.
Then you could open this up to not just. We shouldn't just have assumed that the girls would want. I bet Roger's all into sugar scrubs too. Roger, everybody starts owning it now. They're like, oh well, you just paved the way again. So now we got a whole new market. We got to, Erica's doing some good things here. We got to get her product out there.
She is. She's actually getting ready to come out with a men's line too.
Yeah, I've got some.
Oh, my kiddo will eat that up.
I'll put it that way.
Oh, he loves all that stuff. I'll have to let him know, and my kiddo will have a list too.
Awesome.
we'll definitely buy. Yeah, we'll definitely. I'd love to support you guys. That's awesome. But
thank you.
If I can even list it, if you want me to put it in links or anything like that, just let me know and I'll get it out there for you.
Thank you very much.
We loved having you. Thanks for having us on. We're going to have you on.
Anytime. I really appreciate you guys. Roger jumped on last night. You guys jumped on tonight. I can't tell you. These are the moments I live for. I'm like, it's not planned. And then it's somebody I've been wanting to talk to the both of you. I know that, I was like, they're my people. They're my people for sure. So.
That's for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
But yes. And then before you guys go today, and we definitely have you back on, but what would you like to leave the people with?
Go ahead. I'm just going to tell everybody what I tell on our show is like, ladies, pay attention to your surroundings. Always be alert. If there's something on your car handles, when you go to your car, be prepared. Don't touch it. Just pay attention to your surroundings. We're living in some crazy times right now. And I'm hearing a lot from women about, predators, people falling around. If you don't want to get a gun or a pew-pew, don't, but train yourself, carry some bear spray or some mace. Just protect yourself. Learn how to protect yourself. And I always say at the end of my show, stay frosty, stay ready at all times to protect yourself, because, us big burly men can't be around all the time to protect you.
That's true.
If we're going down that route, and we're talking about ladies protection, don't feel bad about trying to protect yourself. Okay. Go with your gut. And try to be aware of your surroundings. Like he was talking about, if you see something on your vehicle, don't touch it. There's been that thing. It's been several years now. There would be a $1 bill like in your windshield wiper, like tucked into the blade. That's usually laced with something that you don't want to touch. So if it's anything like that, don't be tempted. Don't be afraid to drive to the police department. Anything like that. Don't be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings if you're trying to protect yourself. Okay.
And last but not least, pay attention to what you're putting in your body.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put it on chat, but our page, we have our YouTube channel, and let's see. I'm typing it out, but it's the Oddcast podcast Off the Record. There is another Oddcast podcast. Ours is Off the Record.
Okay. Hey, do you have all your links in one stream, like one bundle?
Ooh.
I was gonna say I just want to make sure I had them. Otherwise, I can go back and look and get them.
Yeah, I don't have.
You
Let
have
me
no
see
idea.
what
I know Amy has them back here somewhere.
on YouTube.
Hey, thanks everybody for sticking around. We're kind of all over the place, but that's how our show
That's
is.
how we operate.
No, I thought it was I stayed on task today for more. You guys were great. This is awesome. I looked forward to it, and I'm like, especially when people come on. And the first one, I really want to get to know them. I like to get to know their passion, and I love this. I love when you're able to, I was like, oh man, I had a cancellation, so I was super thankful that you guys were like,
Well,
and I was
thank
like,
you.
yes, because you're on my list of people I want to have that I. So I was like,
We
heck
didn't
yeah,
want you to
let's do
have
this.
we didn't want you to have Roger again.
Oh,
Poor Roger.
we are so thankful for Roger.
Yeah.
I know, and he sets a whole new bar when you go
Yeah.
over there, and I was like, man, no, I
Totally.
got to create this experience, and I did not do it as well as he did. But if I would plan for it next time, believe me. But Roger, I said, you are talented. He's got this whole thing, and he does it in such a modest way, and I'm like, dude, your graphics are great. Like your songs
yeah.
are absolutely fantastic.
Mhm. I love that he has been getting into that. Is this link on the chat? Is that what you were talking about or no?
Yeah.
I just posted it.
No,
What
I'll
was it
get them
called?
all off of now that I know that they're in live. I'll just get them all off of there, and then I'll put them
Okay.
in. So that way, when your bio goes out, it helps when they're in the. I'm like, because the algorithm I've just noticed. So I would like to get all the information. So even if you have stuff you want me to add to it, like 2 little bios or a bio about your beauty products, I can put that in there. And even when I
Okay.
do, then it recycles out to the platform. So it's okay to do it after.
So is
as
it like
well.
you're editing that
No,
bio?
well, I figured out, I can't tell you exactly how I figured this, but I've been trying for a very long time that my RSS feed, I had it generated, but I found a program to generate it. So then I took it, and then I had it all set up like where it was already hitting, and I had it listed. I went to like different directories. I went to universal directories. But the hardest part was going through and picking each language, and then you have to put a summary. So that's the only time you're having to actually do it yourself. So I had to actually go through and pick the 80 languages, and then I had to take something that could be transcribed. But when you think about it, it's kind of smart because especially like even with UFOs, no, they're like OMVIs in Mexico. They're called different things across the world, which is smart if you're a person trying to keep people from that. So I went through and I kind of broke that barrier down. But as soon as they go live, they will go out. But if I correct them, then they go back out and they correct themselves. So it just like spider webs out, but goes to, I have just a main anchor to it that is speaker, but it goes, then I have that, but I have a bunch of them that I've set up along the way that then now it goes over to here. And then it goes, like you see like women's and podcasting. I was like, okay, I send them my RSS feed. Definitely do it if you guys are doing this. Like whatever it may be, it puts you out there. And so like now, even if it's being translated it already into 80 different languages, it's going in multiple places, which helps the algorithm and then bump up. So like the terms to search it went from like I literally was in the yellow and I went to like 60% green, like overnight for doing that. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. So I can walk you through if this is something you're interested in. I can walk you through it. I told Roger I'd walk him through it. Yeah. And because there's just these little settings that I found and like little things I figured out along the way that will really help if you do. But I'd be more than willing to help.
I watched all the YouTube videos on the, the guys are like, this is the best way to get more, views. And I'm like, I've tried that. That doesn't work.
No,
I've tried hashtag. I've tried it all.
Unless you have people who are actively searching for you, and then you need to go and you kind of ping it. But if it's coming in all these different directions, so mine, even though the main like syndication is over on like Speaker and I think a couple others, it will show, but the numbers all go back to there. So then you don't get like all these odd like numbers and places
Okay.
everywhere. So you actually get a better standing of numbers, a more accurate standing. And I figured out how to do it right off the lives. So I don't have to upload any audio. I had to do nothing other than shut the show down, and it does it by itself.
Nice.
That's nice.
Oh yeah. So like I said, if you guys are thinking about going the audio realm, which is it's good. It's a good idea to do, and it definitely helps. Let me know and I can help walk you through it. I'd pay no other third party and nothing. I've got this now.
Awesome.
It took me like 8 months, but I got this.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes,
so much.
yes. And thank you so much for coming on. I know that, and hanging out wasn't probably in your plans, but I do appreciate it. And I've really wanted, I even told Roger, I was like, I got to get hold of Erica and Blackie. I said, I'd love to have them on. So yeah, really again, and I'll definitely invite you guys back on. And your family here, and if I can help do anything, and definitely give me those links in your beauty, like if you have a little description and I can put that in there, and I could even like put a little commercial at the end or something if you'd like. No problem.
And also I saw some people that said they subbed our channel. Thank you.
Yes,
That means a lot. Thank you. Have fun. I'll tell you that right now.
You won't be bored.
So, yeah.
You will not be bored over there, and they are on Sunday. What time?
5 Central.
Okay. I thought it was 5, but I didn't know. Are you guys in Central or are you in a different
Central,
time?
yeah.
Okay. 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Oddcast podcast
Off
the record.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now we got it. So on that note, you guys have already left the people with something, and I guess until next time, that's all I have left. And you guys, again, thank you so much. Bottom of my heart, keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting that good fight out there.
Absolutely.
It's very appreciated. I gotta get you off here. There you go. That was a fun show. So glad that they came in and that they were able to. It's such a good show for your souls. I mean, it really was. So, hey, Maya Starfire. Oh, and Diana. Oh my gosh, 2-month member. That's awesome. Oh, that is so cool. And E came and joined. Thank you, E, for joining. You're part of our ground crew over here, SNX ground crew. And Maya girl, she's got a show coming up. It's going to be on Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I screwed it up when I said before, but she's got her show started. So definitely go over to Maya Starfire on YouTube or MayaStarfire.com. She's got some great stuff. She's got some great services, and she's a great person to be around. And I said that. I love Maya to death. We are so thankful for her. And yeah, I really enjoyed tonight's show. I'm sorry it didn't work out with the guests, but we have great people, great conversation. You can't go wrong. So again, I will be back. Tomorrow's a Thursday, Jay. We are be here at 4 p.m. and we have oh gosh, who do we have tomorrow? We have Geraldine Azoko tomorrow. She'll be coming back. I think Maya and I did a show with her the time before. So Jay and I will be back at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So, and Maya's show is on Saturday. I will see you guys. If I don't see you before, I will see you tomorrow or over in Maya's chat. And I'll have to look for the schedule the rest of the week. I'm not exactly sure right off the top of my head, but I do know that those are correct. So, and again, go to the Oddcast podcast Off the Record. Definitely give them a subscribe. They are listed under my affiliated or my put it under, I think, affiliations or affiliated channels. I try and put some of the good ones that are up there that I've come across, and I know that they are listed. So definitely get over there, show them some love, tell them hello from us. But they are on again at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So until next time, thank you for taking the journey into the unknown. I'm Coley, also known as ColeyUFO, and we are done for the night. Be safe out there.